I'm gonna start off my 2025 wish list with the most obvious one. Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall. Everybody wants to see this fight. And I'm gonna be honest, prior to the Stipe fight, I did not think this was gonna happen. I also didn't think this was gonna happen once Jones beat Stipe and the fight was over. The reason for this is because in his post-fight interview, Jones said that maybe he won't retire and just maybe the fans will get what they want. I took that as him not wanting to ruin his moment and upset the crowd and just give off the perception that he's still open to the Aspinall fight, even though he knew all along he wasn't going to fight him. I mean, Jones is very calculated, so he knew exactly what he was going to say in the post-fight interview before the fight with Stipe took place. But what changed my mind is how Dana is talking about the fight and how he'll do anything to make it happen. That's what's making me grow more confident. I know I should probably take anything Dana says with a grain of salt, but for some reason I think this fight will happen in 2025. It's probably the optimism in me that just wants to see this so bad that's making me trust Dana. But hey, it is what it is. Let's hope this fight gets made in early 2025. Early, like March, April, somewhere around there. Let's get the undisputed heavyweight champion out of the way. My next wish is a Khamzat Chimaev title shot. I don't even care what division it's in. I just want to see Khamzat competing for the title. The reason I say I don't care what division is because there has been some rumors about Khamzat versus Pereira at 205 for the belt. I haven't seen any credible source reporting this. To my knowledge, it's just Pereira saying that Ankalaev won't be next, and Dana White saying that something the fans won't see coming will be happening in 2025, and people just kind of putting two and two together. I don't know if this would be that surprise. As of right now, I do prefer to see Khamzat versus Dricus for the belt. I have zero interest in Strickland versus Duplessis as of right now, but I'm sure that'll change as the fight gets closer. As close as that fight was between Strickland and Dricus, how Khamzat finished Whitaker just made me lose all interest in that rematch. Also, although I'd rather see Khamzat at middleweight, I can't lie and say that if Khamzat and Pereira, the title fight was booked, that I wouldn't be hyped. I mean, you wouldn't even need trash talking or any of that extra stuff needed to sell that fight. That fight sells on its own. They did already trash talk each other in the past. I don't know how that would look like now with calm Khamzat. Ultimately, my main wish is just that Khamzat becomes champion. I know some people lost hope for him after they saw him being inactive and getting sick, but I'm being honest, I never lost hope for Khamzat. And this isn't me just saying this in hindsight after seeing how quickly he finished Whitaker. He just never had a boring fight. He's an entertaining fighter who's incredibly skilled. I mean, how could you not want him as champion? The only criticism that I could understand, and one that I probably have too, is how active he will be as champion. That's understandable. But you wanna know what? Just add that to the wish list. Khamzat becomes champion and stays active. That's the wish. It's probably asking for a lot, but hey. The next fight I want to see in 2025 is Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev. Now, I will say that I'm not a fan of fighters just moving up a weight class after one or two title defenses. I remember when O'Malley was talking about moving up to 45, or when Leon was talking about moving up to 85, and I was just hoping that Dana wouldn't allow that to happen, and it seems like he agrees on this topic. But this would be one of those fights that's just too good and has to happen eventually. Topuria and Makhachev are the two best pound-for-pound fighters in the world right now, and if they're willing to fight each other, then why not let it happen? Also, the way Topuria talks about his future, I don't know how long he'll even fight in the UFC. He definitely doesn't seem like the fighter that will overstay his welcome, so make this fight while it's possible. Maybe one or two title defenses for each of them, and in that case I guess this seems like more of a wish for 2026. But hey, also staying on the topic of Islam Makhachev, if this fight is not possible, I would love to see him go up to 170 and fight Bilal for the title. By the looks of it, it seems that Islam and Bilal won't fight each other, so secretly I'm gonna wish that Shavkat beats Bilal so Islam can move up and fight him instead. Although I do think that Bilal will probably win against Shavkat. Moving on to the next wish, the return of Conor McGregor. Now, I will say, although I'm not expecting McGregor back, nor is it at the top of my wish list, but if it were to happen, the excitement would probably be unmatched. It's easy to say now that the UFC doesn't need Conor, which it doesn't. But a McGregor fight week against Chandler, Oliveira, or whoever, the opponent doesn't even matter, would be huge. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it would be hilarious if he came back and his opponent wasn't Chandler. But now I see something about him boxing Logan Paul in India, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna watch that fight, but McGregor in the UFC is just different. That fight week is just gonna hit different. A boxing match with Logan Paul just probably won't interest me until the day of the fight. Actually, thinking about that again, I might take that back. If they travel to different countries doing press conferences, then McGregor might be must-watch TV. If he's just completely off his rocker, I mean crazy McGregor shows up, not the one that showed up against Poirier in their second fight, but if crazy McGregor shows up against Logan Paul at these press conferences, that might be something to watch. And for my last wish, this is more so of a prediction. When Dana White said that he had something big planned that the fans won't see coming, my mind immediately went to two things. My first thought was somebody like Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk competing in a fight in the UFC. When Dana White was talking about making Musk versus Zuckerberg happen, he was completely serious. From everything I've seen, Dana was on board to make that fight happen, and it just ended up falling through. And I mean, why wouldn't he want to make that fight? It'd be the biggest fight in the history of the UFC. So my first thought was a celebrity of that magnitude competing in the UFC. My second thought was a boxer coming over. I don't know whether I still buy that, considering the amount of money boxers are getting to fight. But then again, could Dana be working with some of the Saudi guys to get a boxer to cross over into the UFC? Like I said, I don't know what boxer would want to do this. Maybe the amount of money could tempt them. This is where I'm going to end the video. Until next time, peace.